There have been many men throughout the years that have been called the King. But there is only one true king of rock and roll, and his name is Elvis Presley.
Walking through a party in the county jail. The prison band was there, they began to wail. The band was jumping and the joint began to swing. You should have heard the knocked out jailbird sing.
By early 1956, the King turned the entire country upside down. He was the first performer to mesmerize people to the point of fainting at his feet. He was music royalty in the late 1950s, with multiple #1 records, sold-out tours, and history-making television appearances. His hip-swiveling and awe-inspiring gyrations left every woman in America breathless. The prim and proper 1950s culture was not ready for a man of this particular kind of swagger. He was labeled a sexual deviant by middle America for his suggestive dance moves, and for a short time would be only filmed from the waist up to try and calm the storm of sexuality that an Elvis Presley performance inspired. Let's just say the parents of all the teenage girls were not too happy. Elvis took inspiration for his music from several different genres. He fused together elements of rock and roll, pop, country, gospel, and rhythm and blues. He was actually responsible for a whole new genre of music referred to as rockabilly. There was a section of racist white America that began lashing out at this new radio star who they had never seen and only heard. The reason for their hatred of Elvis was because they were convinced he was a black man that was coming to steal their daughters. It seems the stupidity of racist people knows no bounds. Presley was so popular, he was thrown up onto the big screen in 1957, singing my friend Janet Camara's favorite song, Love Me Tender.
Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill.
After a long string of #1 hits, including Heartbreak Hotel, Blue Suede Shoes, and Jailhouse Rock, Elvis did his country proud and answered the call to enlist in the Army in 1958. He served for almost 2.5 years and was honorably discharged in late 1960, holding the rank of sergeant. He may have been a sergeant in the military, but he was a king on stage and returned with massive hit singles, It's Now or Never and Are You Lonesome Tonight?
Are you lonesome tonight? Do you miss me tonight?
These power ballads touched people's hearts and brought a tear to their eyes. Unfortunately, most of the 1960s was spent at the movie studios, as Presley appeared in 25 movies during the decade. He was not nearly as good of an actor as he was a singer, and his movies were panned by critics, but they were all making money, so they kept doing more. This time in Elvis's life was immortalized in a humorous way by Eddie Murphy during his 1982 stand-up comedy special, Delirious.
When Elvis was young, he was a bad motherfucker, boy. Elvis was bad. He was vicious and shit. Sing his ass off. He sang so good, they let him do movies he couldn't act. They said, fuck it, let him sing all his dialogue. They did. Everything Elvis said, they said, Elvis, we gotta win this race. We gotta win this race. Elvis, want some lemonade? Lemonade. That cool, refreshing drink.
In 1967, Elvis married a young lady that he had met while stationed in Germany in 1959. Elvis and Priscilla Presley were like royalty and purchased a mansion in Memphis, Tennessee called Graceland. This is where they would have their child, Lisa Marie. From 1965 to 1968, Elvis was mainly out of the spotlight for a few years, but returned with a vengeance to the stage that always welcomed him with open arms for his televised comeback special.
Well, since my baby left me, well, I found a new place to dwell. Well, it's down at the end of Lonely Street, that Heartbreak Hotel.
The next year, he was given a song that he sang with every ounce of soul that he had in the fiber of his being. It is my favorite Elvis song by far, and it would mark the 18th and last #1 hit single for the King. It was called Suspicious Minds.
Caught in a trap, I can't walk out because I love you too much, baby.
It seems every artistic superstar has his or her fair share of demons to fight. Going into the decade of the 1970s, Elvis had a big problem with prescription pills. He was getting extremely addicted to uppers and downers. His weight became a problem, and numerous health issues were arising. In an interview, a reporter asked Presley's bodyguards why they did not try to protect him from this. The short, truthful answer was a question as well. How do you protect a man from himself? On August 16, 1977, the King of Rock and Roll was found in the bathroom next to his bedroom in Graceland, unresponsive. Emergency workers tried to revive the beloved musician, but he was gone. The brightest, shining superstar in the history of music had burnt out at the age of 42, and the entire country went into a state of shock and deep, deep mourning.
Pandemonium has broken out here on Elvis Presley Boulevard in Memphis. Thousands of fans from all over the country are converging on Graceland, trying to get in to view the body of the 42-year-old King of Rock and Roll.
I just can't believe he's dead. It's terrible. But I just thank God that Elvis died here at Graceland instead of on the road just like any other rock and roll singer.
Whether you're black or white, whether you're country, redneck, or freak, young or old, from Moscow, London, or Memphis, Elvis Presley will still be the king of rock and roll to me.
There is only one true king, and right up until the very end of his life, the gift from God, his amazing voice, never failed him.
Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't